Ever wonder if that woman is actually thinking about you the way you're thinking about her? There are 8 psychological triggers that make women fantasize about men, and most of you are already doing some of these naturally. I'm about to break down the signs that her mind is somewhere it probably shouldn't be, and number 6 is going to blow your mind. Picture this: you're in a crowded room, everyone's talking loudly, and instead of competing with the noise, you lean in close and whisper something to her. Aim over. Seriously, there's actual science behind this. When you whisper, you're forcing her to pay attention. You're creating what psychologists call selective attention. She has to focus entirely on you to hear what you're saying. But here's the kicker. Whispering is primal. It's how we communicated secrets, intimacy, and danger for thousands of years. Her brain instantly associates it with closeness and vulnerability. Women literally cannot help but fill in the gaps. When you whisper, her mind goes straight to, what else would he whisper to me? And trust me, those thoughts aren't innocent. Research shows that when we process whispered speech, our brains activate the same regions associated with physical touch and emotional intimacy. You're not just talking to her, you're creating a neurological experience, one that takes her back to her most basic emotional instincts. You're connecting on a level that goes beyond words, sparking a deeper kind of attraction when you walk away mid-conversation in purpose. This one's psychological warfare, and it works because of something called the Zeigarnik effect. Our brains are wired to remember unfinished tasks and conversations way more than completed ones. So when you casually excuse yourself in the middle of telling a story or making a point, her brain gets stuck on that incomplete loop. She's literally sitting there thinking, wait, what was he going to say? Where did he go? When will he come back? And that mental replay, that's where the fantasy starts. She's not just wondering about the conversation, she's wondering about you, what you're thinking, what you're doing, what it would feel like to have your full attention again. The psychological principle here is called cognitive closure. We have this desperate need to complete unfinished thoughts. When you deny her that closure, her mind becomes obsessed with you. She replayed that moment over and over, each time imagining different scenarios about what might have happened if you'd stayed. She's drawn into an emotional loop that makes her want more. The glance at her lips, then back to her eyes. This is pure psychology, and it's based on something called mirroring theory. When you look at her lips, even for just a second, you're planting a subconscious suggestion. Her brain automatically mirrors the actions. Suddenly she's thinking about lips, about kissing, about that tension between you two. But here's why it works so well. It's not a stare. It's not creepy. It's just a quick flicker of attention that says, I'm thinking about kissing you, without you actually having to say it. And because it's so brief, she's left wondering if she imagined it, which keeps her mind spinning. Research shows that when we're attracted to someone, we naturally look at their mouth more often. So when you do it deliberately, you're triggering that same psychological response in her brain. Studies from the University of Kansas found that people look at lips when they're thinking about kissing. And when someone looks at our lips, we unconsciously start thinking about kissing too. When you touch her arm during a story, then pull back. This is about contrast psychology. The touch itself isn't what gets hurt. The absence afterward. Think about it. You're telling a story. You gently touch her forearm for emphasis, then you pull your hand away and continue talking. Like nothing happened. Her skin is still feeling that touch. But now there's this gap. That empty space becomes loaded with possibility. Her brain starts filling it in. What if he touched me again? What if he didn't pull away? What would that feel like? Studies show that light, unexpected touch releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. But when you remove that touch, you create what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement, which is actually more powerful than constant contact. It's the same principle that makes slot machines addictive. The unpredictability of when the next touch will come makes her hyper-aware of every interaction with you. The contrast between the touch and the absence of it creates a powerful emotional connection that keeps her focused on you now. Before I get to the next 4, if you're already thinking, how do I know if she's actually doing this stuff because she likes me? I get it. That's why I put together the 25 forbidden signals she's secretly into you cheat sheet. I'm talking about the split-second lip flash, the hair whirl that's definitely not just fidgeting, and the exit door hover that's basically screaming, follow me. Links in the description. But let me finish giving you these last 4 behaviors first, because number 6 is going to mess with your head when you pause mid-sentence and smile like you know something. This taps into something called cognitive curiosity. When you stop talking and just smile, her brain goes into overdrive trying to figure out what you're thinking. Are you thinking about her? Something funny? Something else? That pause creates tension, and that smile suggests you're enjoying a private thought. She wants in on that thought. She wants to know what's making you smile, what secret you're holding, what's going through your mind when you look at her like that. The psychological principle here is simple. Mystery activates. The reward center in our brains, when we can't figure something out, our minds become obsessed with solving it. And while she's trying to solve the mystery of your smile, guess what she's thinking about? You. Neuroscientists call this the information gap theory. When we sense there's something we don't know, our brains literally crave that missing information. When you lean in, say nothing, then say something unexpected. This is anticipation psychology at its finest. When you lean in close, her brain immediately starts preparing for something important, something intimate. Her heart rate actually increases. Her focus narrows, she's ready. And then you pause. That pause is everything. It's building anticipation, creating tension, making her hyper-aware of the space between you. Then, when you finally speak, and it's something playful or unexpected, you've just created this perfect storm of emotions. You've made her feel anticipation, surprise, and relief all at once. That emotional cocktail is intoxicating, and it's exactly the kind of moment that replays in her mind. Later research on anticipation shows that our brains actually enjoy the waiting period more than the actual reward sometimes. You're literally making the build-up more exciting than whatever you're going to say. The entire experience creates an emotional high that keeps her thinking about you long after the moment has passed. When you look at her like you're undressing her, then laugh it off. This is about safe danger. That look, you know, the one, it's raw, it's honest, it's desire for just a moment. She sees exactly what you're thinking, and it's not subtle, but then you laugh. And suddenly it's playful instead of intense. This works because of something called benign violation theory. You're violating social norms by being so obviously attracted to her. But the laugh makes it benign. Safe, she gets to feel desired without feeling uncomfortable. That combination of danger and safety is psychologically addictive. She feels the thrill of being wanted, but she also feels secure enough to enjoy it. And trust me, she'll be thinking about that look long after you've left. Studies show that women are most attracted to men who can balance confidence with playfulness. You're showing her both in one perfect moment when you end the conversation first. This is scarcity psychology. Most guys linger. They drag out conversations, hoping for more time, more connection, more something. But when you're the one who says goodbye first, you're creating artificial scarcity. Suddenly, time with you becomes valuable because it's limited. She's left wanting more, which means she's thinking about you after you're gone. That mental space you're occupying, that's where fantasies live. Research shows that we value things more when they're scarce. By ending the conversation first, you're making yourself the scarce resource, and her brain responds by wanting more of you. It's called the scarcity principle, and it's why limited edition anything sells out instantly. Here's what I need you to understand. These aren't manipulation tactics. These are psychological triggers that create genuine attraction and interest. When you do these things naturally, authentically, you're not tricking her. You're giving her brain permission to be attracted to you. Look, I know you've got questions about this stuff, and honestly, I could talk about female psychology for hours. Drop a comment and let me know which one of these hit different for you. I read every single one, and I love hearing your thoughts on this. You know, I'm always here to break down the real psychology behind attraction, so don't be a stranger.